So, good afternoon, dear students, dear audience. We shall continue our online lessons. Today we'll have an interesting lesson, as we shall have an unordinary lesson. We shall talk about writing, especially the second task of writing essay. Look here, I have drawn a picture so that it would be much easier for you to understand it. As you see, there is a house. I wanted to draw a house. As you see, in the fundamental part, in the basis, I have written introduction, as introduction is the fundamental and basic part of an essay. In introduction, you have to attract the attention of the reader. You have to talk about something that is unusual, something very interesting, so that to attract the reader's attention. Then comes the body part. I have pointed to the body part, and as you see, there are 3 columns. And I have written topic sentence 1, topic sentence 2, and topic sentence 3. These 3 columns hold the roof, they hold the house, and this is called the body part, the main part of the essay. Then, conclusion. Conclusion is like the roof. This is the ending of essay. In conclusion, we shall talk about what we have talked in the body part. So look here. In introduction, sometimes we call it T, or commonly the whole essay itself consists of 3 T's. First T, letter T, is tell them what you are going to tell. So in introduction part, you will talk about what you are going to talk. Then comes 3 main paragraphs of the body part. In body part, you tell them. You tell them what you were going to tell. And the last one is conclusion. In conclusion, you mention all you have told. So it means tell them what you have told, so that retell them what you have mentioned in the body part. And now look here. Thesis statement and conclusion are triangles, as you see, and this is the square. Well, thesis statement and conclusion are triangles, but as you see, thesis statement begins with wide angles, and it narrows. So when you give the introduction, you should speak, you should write broader, and you have to narrow it up to the topic you are given. Then the body paragraph is the square. You give 3 main columns, 3 main parts of the body part. And then comes conclusion. This is also triangle, or you can say pyramid. It is also a triangle, but pay attention. Here, you have to write from the narrow to the wide. So you should widen the topic. So, and now I'm going to tell you about 5 basic types of introduction. We have looked through the introduction, main body part, and conclusion of essay, and I would like to give you some hints to make your essay, to make the introduction or first part of your essay more interesting. So there exist 5 main types of beginning and introduction. An effective introduction can begin first with a story. You can make your own story. You can tell some interesting story that happened in your life, that happened to your friend, or that you have ever heard. So when you begin with a story, it attracts the reader's attention, and he will say, oh, a very interesting story, what would happen further? So the first type of beginning and introduction is beginning with a story. The second type is quotations. Quotations means some sentences, some words, some phrases that are told by someone, by some popular or outstanding man or woman. Let's say a statesman, some outstanding people tell us some phrases, like in Russian we call it aphorism, and you can use it in the introduction part so that to clarify what you are going to speak about in the further body part and conclusion. So then you can ask several questions in the introduction as well. This is the third type. If you ask questions in the introduction, in the first part, pay attention that you have to give all answers to the questions you give in the introduction part. So in the introduction part, you can ask minimum 3 and maximum 5 questions, but not more, because if you give more questions, more than 5, like 6 or 7 questions, it would be very boring. It would become boring. So maximum you can ask 5 questions, and you should keep in mind that if you ask several questions in the introduction part, you should answer all the questions in the body part. So all the questions should have their answers further. Then well, we have talked about the introduction part. We have talked about the rules to follow, about 5 main types, and then let's talk a little about the body part. The body part is the main part, as I have drawn in the picture. There are 3 columns that hold the roof and that stand on the introduction part strictly. Well, the body part should have 3 main paragraphs, or in other words, topic sentences, 3 main topic sentences. If you just give 2 topic sentences or 2 paragraphs, it would become a weak essay. Or if you give more than 3 topic sentences, it would become boring, and it would not, let's say, attract the attention of the reader. He will say it's too boring, and I'm wasting my time, and he will not finish reading the essay. So the body part should have 3 main parts, like 3 strong columns. They will hold the body part, and pay attention. Every let's say part, every paragraph or topic sentence of the body part should have examples as well. If you give some fact, if you give some sentences that support your idea, you should have to give examples so that it would be more realistic. Then let's move to conclusion part. Conclusion part is the last part, the last paragraph of the essay. As we have mentioned, I'm going to repeat it again. Essay consists of 3 T's, T letters. The first T is tell them what you're going to tell. This is introduction. Tell them, this is body paragraph. Tell them what you have told. This is conclusion. So in conclusion, you should give the facts you have talked about it. You have talked about in the body paragraph. Conclusion is the part when you speak about the main idea and make a conclusion, make a survey. And conclusion is also looks like a triangle as well, but the fact is that conclusion is conclusion is the triangle that begins with narrow and that goes to the white side. So in conclusion, you should take a broad, a narrow topic, a narrow, let's say, fact, and you should broaden it, you should widen it. So a conclusion is the opposite of the introduction. Remember that the introduction begins general and ends specific. The conclusion begins specific and moves to the general. So this is the opposite of introduction. Conclusion begins with specific and moves to the general. It begins narrow and goes to the wide. Your conclusion is no place to begin a new idea, to give a new idea. You shouldn't give a new idea. As you have spoken about the topic, you have just to conclude it. And your supporting sentences should summarize what you have already said in the body part of your essay. The fourth type is from wide to narrow, or in other words, from general to specific. As if you are given a certain topic, you can widen it and then you can narrow it. Let's say you're given a topic studying in Berlin University, or let's say advantages of studying in Berlin University. You can widen it first, like you can say studying abroad or studying overseas in European countries, and then you can narrow it. You can say studying in Germany like makes or costs something, and then you can narrow it up to the topic you are given, up to the certain topic you are given. Like you can say at the end, you can say studying in Berlin University is this one, and like that. Then the fifth type is the opposite. Once you're given a topic, you can begin your introduction with the opposite of the topic you are given. Let's say you are given wearing, or let's say advantages of wearing a unique uniform for students. Advantage, yes? You can begin it with the opposite side. You can say disadvantage, or you can speak about the minuses of wearing unique uniform, and then when you let's say when you attract the reader's attention, you will turn the topic up to the opposite. Like you will say, oh, I thought the writer would speak about disadvantage, but it turned out to be that he is going to speak about advantage. So it will not only attract the reader's attention, but it will also make your essay effective, interesting, and perhaps you will be shocked or astonished having read your essay. Well, now besides speaking about 5 main types of introduction, I'm going to give you some rules you should follow. If you follow these rules, your essay will be successfully for sure. So first of all, start your intro broad, but not too broad. If you give too broad information, it will be much boring. Then the second rule is provide relevant background, but do not begin with your argument. You can write about the topic you are going to speak, but do not give the main idea of the topic in the introduction part, because you will give your main idea in the body part. Then provide a thesis. Every introduction should have a thesis, and a thesis statement is the last sentence or the sentence before the last sentence in the introduction part. This statement is considered to be the heart of the essay because it contains all the main idea of the essay. Once the reader looks at the essay, at any essay, he should find the thesis statement easily. Like he should look at the essay and he should say, oh, this is the thesis statement. This is the heart of the essay. Then provide only helpful and relevant information. If you give the information that do not belong to the topic you are going to talk about, or that will not help or that will not support your idea, it will be of no use. Then try to avoid cliches that are repetitions, that is repetitions. When you give some words and when you want to talk about it further, you should try to avoid to repeat these words again and again. You can replace them with synonyms, you can paraphrase them, but do not repeat them. Try not to repeat them again. Then the last rule is convince the reader. Convince the reader that your essay is worth reading. Do your best and try to begin your introduction and give strong, let's say, topic sentences and a very good conclusion, so that to convince the reader to read the essay up to the end, not to put it back to the table, so it would be worth to read. We have done a good job. We have talked about essays, how to write an effective essays. We have spoken about 5 main types of introduction, 3 main body paragraphs, and conclusion that supports your idea. So I hope the topic I have shared with you is really interesting and you got very valid information from this lesson. For now, this is all. Goodbye.